Now, for more of what's going on in this crazy budget chaos here in Israel, I'm joined by Barak Herskowitz, founder and CEO of Greiver Herskowitz Public Relations and Communications and former Economic Development Advisor to Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat. Now, Barak, thank you so much for joining us. Now, as we saw in that report, Likud are pushing for passing only a 2020 budget, but the Blue and White Party are trying to push for a 2021 budget. And a lot of economic analysts are saying that pushing for a 2020 budget only is just a waste of time, saying that the year is now coming to an end. Now, with this ultimatum that the Blue and White are putting in place now as well, how realistic is this really?
Well, if all parties really want very hard to pass a 2021 budget right now, before the year ends, it's possible. Let me tell you a story. Back in July, I was involved in forming some reforms for this budget, for the current budget, with the Ministry of Finance. And apparently they had very, very good ideas of what to do with the money and what to do with the next 2021 budget. So it's possible on the professional level, but it seems very unlikely, politically wise.
And so far, we're actually operating here in Israel on a 2019 budget. And if nothing happens so far, in 2021, we're still going to be operating on a 2019 budget as well. Now, what are some of the changes that are going to need to be made considering the current climate that we're living in?
First, we need to understand that 2019 budget was formed way before Corona came into our lives, so it's irrelevant right now. So we really need the next budget ASAP. Things that are very new to the government, like giving flexibility to schools, giving them the tools to be flexible with how they manage their budget, giving the hospitals enough flexibility to take care of the patients in the community, not inside the hospital. These are things that are needed by the different government branches, but the government doesn't have the right tools to allow these reforms right now, and it's very unfortunate. And this is the reason we need a new budget as soon as possible.
So, Barak, how is the stalling of passing the budget affecting average citizens of Israel?
It's very, very difficult because, as we all know, billions of shekels have been poured into the economy over the last few months, but the results are very, very poor. I think many Israelis see that the government doesn't give the right answers to COVID-19 treatment on various levels, and we need very interesting and new and creative approach of how to deal with how to tackle the issues that we're dealing with, and we don't have the right tools. And again, for example, the education system, it's very locked with very old employment agreements that don't allow the system to think creatively, to offer new ways of teaching, new technologies. We need a restart for this whole approach.
What about, I think, some of the more important things as well, considering coronavirus here? One of the main things that pop up is hospitals and aid packages. What about, how are these being addressed in the budget? And if we were only to pass a 2020 budget now, how are these going to be addressed?
We need to remember that the healthcare system have given a raise of 250% in its budget over the last few years, and many more billions in the recent months. So I don't think the question how much money is more to spend, but the question is how is the money being allocated, or how is it being used? So the question is not how much money we pour in, but how are we going to use it? And it's something that we need to address very, very carefully in the next budget, and not just pouring more money. It makes sense?
Absolutely. Now, just very, very briefly, we're going out for the break. But if we do see, and this is the worst option that we have here, if we do go to another election, what will happen then as far as the budget goes?
Well, first, even if we go to another elections, I think the 2020 budget is very crucial right now because it will give the government more tools to deal with the crisis ahead, and also it might stall the elections a little bit. So, regardless to the political question, we need a 2020 budget. But if we go to another elections, it will be. It's a political question, but I think on the economic perspective, it will be a very, very difficult thing to have right now. So I think we should avoid it as much as possible.